just, I just, I just speak my peace, keep my peace.
All right. Y'all calm down. I can feel your judgment through the screen. I can hear your judgment through the screen. Chill out. Act like y'all been here before, because y'all have been here before. Y'all know how this goes. I tell y'all that I'm going to take a break. I say the break is going to be for X amount of time, and I end up going away for way longer than expected. Whether that's like a month or two late, or a month or two longer, whatever the case may be, we have definitely been here before. So y'all chill out and act like y'all been here before, because y'all definitely have. I've definitely trained y'all for this. Nah, start me out, y'all. I definitely apologize. This break was never intended to be this long. Like, this is the longest break I've ever taken. I've been gone for a year and some change, and I definitely understand whatever frustrations y'all may have with me, and I own it. And like I said, I apologize, but thank y'all for tuning back into the Speak My Peace podcast. I guess I should do a formal introduction. Welcome back to season 7 of the Speak My Peace podcast. As always, I'm your host, Greg Lacey. If this is your first time listening to the Speak My Peace podcast, welcome. And this is not welcome back. I appreciate y'all returning after this this long hiatus, man. I mean, I guess we really just gotta get into like why I've been gone. I think I owe y'all the explanation. Where do we start? Last episode 142. Shout out to my big bro. We did the year-end music recap. I released that, I want to say, the week of New Year. So like the last week of December 2023. Crazy. Here we are, April 2025. And my last episode was December 2023. But it's neither here nor there. So that was the last episode. That episode almost didn't come out. And what it took for me to get the episode out was one of the things that contributed to me not recording and not being active with the Speak on Peace podcast. So, like I just said, I released that episode in December. We recorded that well ahead of time. The reason why we recorded well ahead of time is I didn't want to spend the holidays chopping up and editing the episode. And so I wanted to get ahead of it so that I can spend the holidays chilling. I also wanted to, during that time, chop up some of the past videos of season 7 and put those out to social media and just be very, very proactive there so that I can look like I'm being active and doing those things in real time. We know how life goes. You plan one thing and it takes a turn for the worse. So what happened and how that almost did not come out? We recorded the episode well ahead of time. And during, my hard drive got corrupted. And I didn't know until a few days later. The reason why I didn't know until a few days later is because we recorded that episode and then I traveled. And then I was like, okay, once I get settled in, I'll finally start to edit it. So I didn't even look at the files. I did look at the files. I did look at the files thoroughly, then listen to the files. I just like, okay, I got them saved. And, in a couple of days, I'm going to set up some time to finally do this. So I travel. Here we are a couple of days later. I'm getting ready to edit. And I can't access my hard drive. And I'm like, I don't know why my computer is not picking up my hard drive. Now, I wouldn't say I have an old MacBook, but I mean, in terms of technology and in terms of how fast things upgrade, I guess I have an old MacBook. I have a 2017 MacBook, so it's 8 years old. But I didn't think that my MacBook was so old that it was like it couldn't read my hard drive. So my first thing though was like, okay, maybe it is kind of old and it's just not reading my hard drive. Like my USB ports was going out. And so the first day I tried to do it, I spent like an hour just trying to disconnect, reconnect, whatever the case may be. Failed attempts after failed attempts. So I let that go and let a couple of days pass by and I revisited. I'm saying, okay, let me see what's picking up my hard drive now. Still nothing. And so at this point, I'm like, damn, where we recorded these episodes, I'm obviously, like I told you, I was traveling, so I'm not there anymore. So if I do want to retrieve these files, I'd have to go back to that studio and get them, which is from where I'm at, it's a 5-hour drive. And so again, this is a holiday, so obviously a lot of things with family and events and things like that are happening. So now I got to like plan around those things. And now I'm like, okay, let me get on Google to see if there's a resolve so I don't have to make that long drive. Got on Google, and what Google told me was like my hard drive is corrupted. So I was like, damn, okay, now I gotta get my hard drive fixed. And the estimated time to get my hard drive fixed, they said it was like 4 to 5 months. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I got to get this episode out because we recorded it. It was a very great episode. And at least if I'm not recording for a little while, because the problem with my hard drive is that everything from season 5 on up was on our hard drive. I have 2 hard drives, our personal hard drive with like just like a lot of my personal stuff. And I first started out Speak My Piece podcast. It was on that personal hard drive. And then when I got this new hard drive 2 seasons ago, I started to move everything over to this new hard drive. And so everything from season 5 on up wasn't on that old hard drive no more. It was only on this new hard drive. And so now I'm like, okay, I don't have old files. I wanted to edit, chop up a lot of old videos after I release this video, just so it look like I'm active during this time of holidays to where like people have a lot of downtime. I can't do that. So I can't, revisit old clips and post old things. I can't post this new episode because I don't have those files. I'm just sitting here and I'm just like a damn a sitting duck. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously I have to make that trip. Made that trip, got my files, whatever the case it may be. But just all the turmoil that happened with that hard drive being corrupted almost made me not want to even release that episode at all. And I said, forget it. This episode is a dub. And, I'll make up for it, whatever the case may be. So obviously I ended up getting those files. Had to spend my holidays editing, reviewing, chopping up those files, and obviously ended up getting it out to y'all the end of the holidays. I wanted to get it out a couple weeks sooner, but because, like I said, I had to go get a new hard drive and retrieve those files, that is what happened there. So that's one thing that transpired during that time of the holidays. I was literally trying to track down my files, and even when I did get my hard drive fixed, because it is fixed now, it didn't end up taking 4 to 5 months, but it took 3 months because this happened in middle of December, and I sent my hard drive into the manufacturer in December. I ended up getting it back maybe like a little bit before my birthday, so like February. So about 2.5, 3 months. Another thing that happened during that time, I got sick. Now, some of y'all don't know me personally, so you don't know, but I don't get sick often. Actually, I rarely get sick. Not even I just don't get sick often. I rarely get sick. Like the most I get sick is I get a sore throat, pause, or a little cough when I sleep with the window open and it's chilly outside or wherever the case may be. But that's like as far as what'll go. However, this week of New Year's, the same time I released the episode, I have one of the worst feelings I've ever had in my life. Like, I'm telling y'all, I don't get sick. This is not one of those things I know women say like, oh, men get sick, they get a little cough or whatever the case may be, and they act like it's the end of the world and they want to be a baby, wherever the case may be. This is not that. This is why I'm leading with I don't get sick. So I woke up one day, regular morning routine, on a run, get home, eat, shower, wherever the case may be. Everything's going perfectly fine. I wake up early in the morning and do all that stuff. Around the time I get out the shower and eat breakfast, I just get like a headache. I thought it was a migraine. I get a headache. Shortly after that, I start breaking out the sweats. Shortly after that, I started to get the chills. And then hours after that, my body is like just weak. Something I've never felt before. So I literally spent the next 48 hours under the cover, just balled up like a baby, drinking tea, taking cough drops, eating soup, wherever the case it may be. And so that took away from my time from editing and stuff like that too. So that was another thing that pulled me away because I wanted to definitely come back in the new year with new episodes. But once that was happening paired with my hard drive, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just relax for a little bit. And when it's time to come back, I'm going to come back. Another thing that happened in between this time was a lot of transition. It's like during it, not even just that specific time. During the time I've been away from this podcast, I've moved out of apartment, moved into another apartment, completed that lease, and literally just recently moved into another apartment. So like a lot of transitioning for me going on in between this time too. And I think the most important thing during this time was just living life, for better or for worse. Like, life take us in many different places, whether it's good things or as bad things. Like I definitely had some wins. I definitely had some losses or some lessons learned during the time away from this podcast, and I'm grateful for all of it. Like I was speaking about like the thing with the hard drive and me getting sick. Once all that started happening, and I was like, okay, I wanted to, release episodes in February, I wanted to release episodes in January. Once I knew that that wasn't happening, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just step away for a little bit, and when it's time to come back, I'm gonna come back. And what happened during that time was that like I stepped away, and for the first time in the past, I want to say 8 years, I lived my life and didn't feel the need to take notes for the sake of the podcast. Because what I do, whether it's going on vacation, whether it's traveling domestically, whether it's going to different events, whether it's meeting people, wherever the case may be, I'm not the person sitting there with a pen and pad or with my phone writing notes, but I'm a mental person. Like I'm very well in remembering things, and so I can experience something 2 months ago, and as I'm recording this episode, I can use that as a structure for this episode. Don't have to take notes, don't have to write it, but taking mental notes, wherever the case may be. This was the first time in the past 8 years where I just stepped away and was just like, I don't feel the need to podcast about this. And as therapeutic as I say this podcast is, that also helped me a lot because I didn't feel the pressures to get things out to the world. Like I tell y'all a lot, like this podcasting shit is not easy. I do all my editing, video and audio. Um, I make up my all the agendas for the podcast. I do all the social media posts, all social media, whether it's YouTube, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram. I don't use Facebook, but sometimes sporadically we'll use Facebook. But literally everything that comes from the Speak My Peace podcast is directly coming from me. Like I'm not outsourcing unless it's creative. Shout out to my big bro again, because a lot of my creative things, whether it's like my podcast title page or the artwork, or whether it's my logo, like I definitely got that from my big brother. Shout out to King's Mode. If you need some creative done, whether it's logos, brochures, pamphlets, whatever the case may be, or flyers, look up King's Mode on Instagram. Shameless plug from Big Brother. But outside of that, like everything that comes from this podcast comes from me, and that takes a lot out of me. And so I use this past year to like just chill. Like I had no intention on coming back for the sake of, oh, I'm experiencing this, so I need to report this, or I'm experiencing this, I need to share with y'all. Like I looked back in my time away and was like, damn, I've had over 150 episodes. Like I've shared a lot with y'all. And I don't want to say this as if like I'm neglecting y'all for the past year, but like I was able to look back and reflect on all that I've shared with y'all. I'm like, okay, I don't feel the need to really just come back. I'm like, okay, I experienced this. Let me share this. It was just like, experience it. Like, just go through life and experience that. And I haven't done that in 8 years. So that was definitely a great feeling. Um, like I said, a lot of things happen in life. Life takes people a lot of different ways, for better or for worse. I experienced a lot of joy. I experienced a lot of pain. Shit, I'd have been stressed out. Y'all see the first half of season 7 and how I'm looking now. You could see that I got more gray hairs on my face. Like they're really spreading now. I remember season 5 or season 6, I used to brush my beard down so that my gray hairs would be hidden under my black. I can't do that shit no more. Like I be trying to hide my gray hairs and I just can't. I got too much of them. Like I have no problem with the gray hairs on my head, but the gray hairs on my face, that shit is that that's something to come to terms with, because you can't hide that. And I like you shave it, it comes back thicker, it comes back longer, whatever the case may be. And I've definitely done that. Like I shaved my beard. Y'all have seen some of the other the Rhythm and Peace podcast episodes. There's been some episodes on there to where I'm beardless. And that's another thing, with me stepping away, I was able to branch into music, something that I've been wanting to do for a while. The Rhythm and Peace podcast is not officially launched yet, but there are definitely things under the portfolio of the Rhythm and Peace podcast. For those of you who don't know, the Rhythm and Peace podcast is going to be the music related podcast, because I do want to speak about all things music. However, this platform, this specific podcast is not the place to do it. Just don't have enough time, don't have enough bandwidth, and I want something that's dedicated specifically towards music. And I don't think the subject matter we cover here on this podcast is that. However, with the back and forth between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, I was able to be creative and offer y'all or offer, people a lot of insights on just my thoughts and my thinking, also lyric breakdowns on music and things like that over the summer. So if you are not aware, if you go check out the Speak on Peace Pod channel on YouTube, there's a section in there that's dedicated to Rhythm and Peace. Rhythm and Peace is rap podcast, and you will see videos. I think I did like 7 videos over the summer for the Rhythm and Peace podcast. Really great content. I'm pat myself on the back and I'm toot my own horn, wherever the case may be. Some of the best content I've done was definitely over the summer, and none of it was like planned out. It was literally just like, hey, this is a big moment, one of the biggest beef we're probably ever gonna see. Let me get some content out, because I was seeing too many creators getting things out, a lot of things that were missed, a lot of things that were wrong in my opinion. And I just felt like my voice was needed in that space, and I was able to share that with a lot of y'all. So the Rhythm and Peace podcast, there are gonna be more details surrounding that as we go on within the season, but there are some things related to Rhythm and Peace podcast on the Speak My Peace Pod YouTube channel. The handle is Speak My Peace Pod, and you should be able to, or it's Speak My Peace TV, actually, sorry. Speak My Peace TV, and you will find all things related to Rhythm and Peace podcast on there. But yeah, I was able to do a lot of things in my time away. I definitely had intentions on returning sooner because I would see certain things. Like I said, I experienced life for myself personally, was seeing things going on in the world. And I was like, I want to speak on those things, but nah. And I guess I missed the most important thing. It wasn't even easy for me to come back to recording. Like, record this episode, it took me 3 or 4 tries. I'm being very transparent with y'all. This is not my first take. This is not the first day I recorded. I recorded one day, didn't like that, and came back and recorded the next day, and came out with a better result. But this is definitely not my first try in recording this comeback episode, and there have been many instances even prior to this to where I wanted to record, but this is not like riding a bicycle. Like, you can't just pick up a microphone, pause, and just record. Like, you have to like get back into the rhythm. And so that first episode that I did record, that was going to be episode 143. I didn't like it. I'm be completely honest with y'all, but I do feel better about this episode just from getting the feedback from myself on watching that previous episode. But here we are now. But no, there are definitely things that I've seen going on in the world that I wanted to speak about. One of the most telling things, or one of the most unfortunate things, y'all remember from seasons past, there was a certain individual whose name we will not say. I will refer to him as what number is he? Number 45. As I just refuse to say his name. That person was the person who was running our country at that time. And I just refuse to bring power to that man and give him any power and say his name. So I just refer to it as number 45. I've been away so long that man is back in office again. Y'all did it. Y'all let that man back in office. There was attempts on his life, and we failed. Not even gonna say we. I don't even know why I can't be speaking about this. Well, we speaking about it. There was attempts on that man's life. 2 attempts on that man's life. 2 failed attempts on that man's life. And through all of that, he is back running our country again. That was definitely something we should have been speaking about on the Speak My Peace pod. But again, like, all that was happening during holiday season, during the end of the year, and also just a lot of things going on in my life. And so I did not come back. But y'all know that's definitely something we would have been speaking about, something we would have divulged. Another thing, and this is this last topic is what we kind of like going to branch off, and I'm gonna pick it back up in episode 144. Or what episode is this? Yeah, episode 144. Gatekeeping. We as a people, not even we, because I'm good at it. Y'all, I'm putting this on y'all. Y'all can blame me for being away for so long, and I'll take that. I'll take whatever smell y'all put on my name for taking so long to come back for the Speak About Peace podcast. But what I'm gonna put on y'all is things we let go of, things we allow to happen in our culture since the Speak About Peace podcast be gone. I thought y'all was my people. Y'all supposed to be upholding our culture, upholding the unity and things like that, and y'all just let things slip away. The first thing that I saw, and these 2 things are actually first thing and second thing are actually correlated, but they happened at two separate times. The first thing that I saw, y'all know I don't watch the Super Bowl, still a supporter of Colin Kaepernick. Y'all know I don't watch the NFL, still a supporter of Colin Kaepernick, so I don't tune into NFL games unless it's the halftime of the Super Bowl. But outside of that, I stay away from the NFL. However, not last year, but the season before, we know the big thing in the NFL was Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship. And that's not even a problem. Date who you ever date, love who you want to love. I don't care. The thing is that because they were dating, there was this big media hoopla about Taylor Swift because she was going to the Chiefs games. And I'm not saying I watched the game, that's not how I saw it. Is obviously I have social media, and so I saw it. I remember opening up my Instagram one day and I see Taylor Swift in a box suite with a bunch of people that look like her. I'm assuming coming from the same background as her, swag surfing. Taylor Swift, pop country music star from, I don't know where she's from, but she was in a box suite swag surfing. And y'all allowed it. The next thing I saw, obviously y'all see my sweater. Shout out to the women Bruins. First of all, that's the first and foremost. Shout out to women Bruins. Women's basketball team, women's softball team, women's gymnastics. They've been holding UCLA down. As storied as our college is, I didn't go to UCLA, but I'm a UCLA fan. As storied as we are, the men has been doing a piss poor job, and the women has been upholding UCLA tradition, whether it's gymnastics, whether it's softball, whether it's women's basketball. They have been holding us down. I say all that to bring back to my point. I was watching this basketball game. It was a UCLA Bruins versus the Arizona Wildcats. The game was in Arizona, in Tucson. If y'all don't know anything about the demographic breakdown in Tucson, they don't look like me. The majority of people out there do not look like me. Majority of people who go to the school does not look like me. I don't know the best way to do this, but since we're speaking about UCLA, I'm gonna do this for my locals. Now, I'm a UCLA fan, diehard UCLA fan, born and bred UCLA fan, will die UCLA fan. However, the majority of UCLA fan base do not look like me. There is a lot of UCLA fans that look like me and come from the background that I come from, but not, if we look at the fan base as a whole, do not look like me. We're speaking specifically about basketball. However, our crosstown rivals, this is a local reference for my people from LA and surrounding areas. For our rivals, the USC Trojans, majority of their fan base look like me. And I'm drawing this comparison because Arizona, we have Arizona, University of Arizona, and we have Arizona State. In this comparison, the USC will be Arizona State, and the UCLA will be Arizona. So now I got this picture of what this fan base looks like, and you can imagine what the crowd looks like. So I'm watching this UCLA game, very close game. I think we was up by like 1, maybe like 3 minutes left into the game. It's a TV timeout. The camera is panning through the crowd, and it gets to the student section where the band is. If you don't know anything about college basketball, the band is usually behind the goalpost. So it gets to the student section, pans to the band. Now, in this sea of white and red striped shirts, there's probably about 50 people, and one of them look like me. What is this band doing during this TV timeout? Swag surfing. And y'all don't believe me, please go look at my, after release this episode, please go look at my social media. Speak My Peace Pod on Instagram, at Speak My Peace Pod on Instagram. I will post a video for proof. And some of y'all was already following my Instagram, so you probably already seen the video. But it's a sea of red and white striped shirts. None of them look like me or you, because I know the majority of my fan base are colored people. And they're swag surfing. Off beat, not in unison, not actually even swag surfing. They're literally just surfing. Surfing. They're literally just surfing. It looks like a Beach Boys surf. And shout out to the Beach Boys. Rest in peace if any of them have passed away, but This is something that like I would expect from the Beach Boys or a Beach Boy fan. And I was sitting there like, oh, we've lost the swag surf as a culture. The reason why I bring this up and the importance in while I'm speaking about this is because, we've had an episode about gatekeeping. I spoke about it. I don't remember what episode it was. I wish I did have it on top of my head so I can speak about it. But yes, the episode was largely racially based, but it's not specific just to black people. It's just specific to cultures in general. Listen, I leave my life for being pro-black. Like, if I understand that if we don't support one another, nobody else will. When I'm buying things, when it's clothes, majority of the time, I'm going to go with my pro-black. Y'all seen in the previous seasons, I wear a lot of shirts that had HTG on it. That's Honor the Gift. That's shout out to Russell Westbrook. That's his brand. When I'm going out shopping, if I'm going to eat, I want to look for a black-owned restaurant. If they got good reviews, I'm going to eat there. I go to the movies every Tuesday. Literally every Tuesday. How I determine what movie I want to watch, the first thing is the most anticipated movie for me. And if I'm going on Tuesday where none of the movies I'm looking forward to is out, I'm looking for the black leads. I'm looking for whether there's a black actress or actor. Now, if we don't have any of those, the next tier is black produced. And then after all of that, if I don't have any of that, but I really want to go to the movies and there's interesting movies, then I'm going to watch the other movies. And the reason why I leave my life like this is because, like I just said, if we don't support one another, nobody else will. Like, I know with what happened during the pandemic with the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and there's so many others during that time, there was a lot of wokeness within this country where people like, okay, well, let's support black people and just people of color in general. But not all of it was genuine. Like, you can tell that it was just a cool thing to do to say that we support people of color. It wasn't what people genuinely wanted to do or what people actually cared to do. And that's prevalent today. Those same companies that were so loud in 2021 and 2022 or 2020 are not as loud in 2025. And that's prevalent with what's going on with a lot of these DEI initiative rollbacks. Number 45 rolled out, and y'all forgive me because I'm not the most well-versed in politics, so I'm going to get a lot of things wrong. Y'all correct me in the comments, wherever the case may be. But number 45 rolled out an initiative where he said that essentially DEI wasn't as important. We can roll back all those initiatives. I don't care about the diversity and inclusion and things like that in terms of hiring practices, in terms of just policies within the workplace or schools, whatever the case may be. I don't really care for that too much. And you are not required to uphold that. And what happened was a lot of companies immediately pulled those things and said, okay, well, we're not going to have that. Now, there's a lot of ups and downs on what DEI mean, what the DEI initiatives mean, and that's for y'all to debate about. But I'm just tying this back into like where we were in 2019, 2020, 2021, and where we are today. True colors are showing. This is what I mean by if we don't support one another, nobody's going to support us. The reason why, and I'm always harking back to this example, the reason why Black Panther was so successful is because of us. Yes, it was a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so it was going to do numbers regardless, but we showed up and showed out for our own. You want a better example? Compare the hoopla for Black Panther to this new Captain America. A lot of black people didn't care too much about Captain America. So Captain America didn't have that much of a return in the box office as Black Panther 1 and 2 did. We have to show up for ourselves. I understand we live in a country we like to think that it's progressive, but it's not as progressive as it is. But one thing we can do is look out for one another. And I don't just mean black people. I just mean the people you grew up around, the people in your neighborhood, the people in your culture, the people in your religion, wherever the case may be. Support one another because these people in this country don't care about us. The thing about gatekeeping is it's important because it's not, how do I say this? It's not so much about, okay, I'm kind of going on a tangent here, so y'all forgive me. We say this thing a lot in entertainment and music, culture vultures. People who don't look like us, come from our communities, come from our walks of life, see we got something going on, come in and take it, use it on our own, and run off with it. Outside of that swag surfing thing, I've seen black people sayings be taken away from us. I remember Kim Kardashian had that, I didn't come this far just to come this far thing. Remember Drake used that on that song, I think Seek and Destroy or Search and Destroy. It was an intro to it. But when Kim Kardashian said that, a lot of people ran with that quote and as if Kim Kardashian phrased that quote. But if you look like me, you come from my background, you've heard that from aunt, a great aunt, a grandma, a great grandma, a great grandpa, whatever the case may be. This is a popular black saying. I don't know if black people came up with it or coined the phrase, but we definitely made it popular. So that's one example. Another thing, I hate to use Kim Kardashian because I'm not a person who's opposed to the Kardashian family. I don't really care for them one way or another. But y'all remember it was either Kim or it was Kylie. One of them had cornrows a couple years ago. And all these, we seen a lot of op-ed pieces about how they're breaking cornrows back as if like cornrows and braids hadn't been in our culture for so long. But they was able to come in and take that and make it their own because the media said so. Not because they wanted to, but because the media said so. And how this ties back into what I'm talking about, this culture vulture thing is that, like, think about the term culture vulture. A vulture preys. Think about a vulture soaring in the sky, and they see a carcass, whether it's a carcass of a bull, a horse, wherever the case may be. That carcass is not going to fight back. There's no fight in that carcass. It's a carcass. It's dead. So why wouldn't a vulture come in and pick at that if it's appetizing and it's no fighting back? The thing with us is the carcass is us giving away things that are sacred to us. The swag surf. The swag surf is something that's sacred to the black community. I don't care what anybody say. The song and the dance is something that's sacred to us. There are certain sayings that's sacred to the black community. There are certain styles that are sacred to the black community. There are certain food and recipes that are sacred to the black community. And the more that we give these things away, the vultures are going to eat at it. Because again, if the vultures see something appetizing and there's no fight for them to get it, why wouldn't they get it? And so essentially we have become the dead carcass. Or maybe that's or repetitive or redundant. But we have become the carcass, offering things up, things that are sacred to us. And the problem with that is that the more sacred things that we get away with or give away, the more identity we lose. These things are sacred to us because they make up our identity. They uphold our culture, and that's what bond us. Like one of my best friends is from Georgia. Another one of my best friends is from Maryland. We come from completely different walks of life. But a lot of things that we've learned, a lot of things that is true in my family, a lot of things is true in another person's family, we bond over that because there's this unspoken language between black people all across America. We are bonded in one way or another, whether that's through food, whether that's through fashion, whether that's through sports, whether that's through dialect, wherever the case may be. There are things that uphold our identity and our culture all across the diaspora. And the more we let go of those things, the least strong, the weaker our identity becomes. Think about the history of America and just the identity of America. America is built on stealing things. We were stolen from our native land, and now our history is literally tied into America because we are not, I'm not going to say we because not all of us, but the majority of us are not connected to our ancestors because we don't, our great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents don't know anything about their great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents from Africa because they were literally ripped from a continent and brung to another continent and they had to like uproot their life and and create a brand new identity. They lost languages. They lost, if there was religion, they lost religion. They lost, they brought in the trades with them. That's what's, built up America. But that identity that made them who they were in one continent was stripped away in another continent, and they had to form a brand new identity. Think about just the land in itself. Like, America wasn't always ours. America was stolen from Native Americans. America was stolen from Mexicans. And somehow now we are the United States of America, even though we're not actually united. And now we're having people to where they're trying to keep Mexicans out of America. Native Americans are forced into certain specific, or not forced, they were given certain specific spaces within America. And when we think about the things like that is the history of America. And so a lot of times these things were attained violently with fights, but they still gained them because of the power that they had. So here we are 400, 500 years later, we giving away things for free. Where do we think that this is going to end? Now, I'm not saying that we got to stop everybody from being into our culture, but when we think about this idea of like inviting such and such to the barbecue because, oh, he know how to dance, or because he know this song, or because he or she is dating this person of color, we have to be more aware who we are inviting, because it's important that we uphold our culture. And the more we give away, the less we have. And we're starting to see that a lot, because outside of just the broad spectrum of America, there are things that are sacred within our communities. Like, there's code and ethics of the streets, and we're seeing that go away. And I'm not going to go too deep into that because we're going to speak about that in the next episode. But we're seeing a lot of rappers, we're seeing a lot of podcasters, we're seeing just people telling on themselves, and then these things leading to indictments. This was never okay. People used to be shunned for speaking too much about what they were doing in the streets or what they were doing illegally or wherever the case may be. And now it's like the thing to do. I did this, I did that. I'm going to show you this on Instagram. I'm going to show you this on TikTok, wherever the case may be. Literally just telling themselves, offering information. And the code of the streets was something that was once sacred and is not anymore. And it's unfortunate. Like I said, I'm not going to go too deep in that. But just think about that as we get away from it. I know this episode started off fun, ended up serious, but trust me, we're going to have a lot of fun to end out season 7 of the Speak on Peace podcast. But there are also things we got to talk about because I've been away for so long, and a lot of things I just have not been okay with in my absence. But with that being said, I'm gonna wrap up this podcast, this episode right here. I'm still getting to the groove of things, so this kind of feels like kind of wonky. Y'all forgive me because I'm still trying to get my groove, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm looking at the timer right now. We're getting up into 40 minutes. We haven't done an episode this long in a very long time, but I think it's fitting because I've been away for so long. Once again, thank y'all for coming back. I appreciate y'all. Won't do it again, or I won't do it again this season, I should say, because I probably will do it again. Before we get out of here, my what to watch for this week, we're going to go with Paradise on Hulu. Once again, my what to watch for this week, we're going to go with Paradise on Hulu. That's the Speak on Peace podcast for this week. I'm out.